Welcome to Anti-Anxiety Hour. I'm your host, Illicit Ghost. Found your music on the internet, and I couldn't get enough of it. Now I wanna have a little chat, wanna know where your head is at. I just wanna talk to you, find out more about what you do. I just wanna hear your view, tell me more about what you do. I'm Illicit Ghost, I'll be your host cause it's my radio. I just wanna hear your view, tell me more about what you do, what you do, what you do, what you do, what you do. Hello everybody, welcome to Anti-Anxiety Hour with Illicit Ghost. Today we have a very special guest. His name is Jeff Herrera. He's going to be calling in from Los Angeles, California. So, pretty excited about that. If you guys have any questions, definitely use the little question button at the bottom of the screen. I don't know if you guys have used it before, but definitely send us your questions. If you sent us questions earlier today, I have them. I wrote them down, and we will answer them. So, I'm going to call our first guest in because I think he's actually calling right now. Oh, I guess. Oh, hello?
Yo, what's good?
What's up?
I'm trying to get the lighting good here.
Get that light
Good
right.
background. Sun's in my eyes.
Nice.
All right, I'm ready.
Nice backdrop.
Welcome to Oxnard Backyard Studios.
Yes, we live in Oxnard, which is not far from LA. Barbecue grills.
We're ready to go.
Swimming pools. Greenery. Got it all. So, okay, if anyone doesn't know, if you haven't seen my 100 stories this week, Jeff is a producer, composer, and pianist. He is super talented. We met a few years ago. We've been friends for a while. And I just wanted to start with the fact that you have put out 2 albums and 1 EP in 1 year.
Yeah.
That was in 2018.
And then I haven't done anything since that, so
but,
I just had 1 year and then that was it. I peaked.
So that's kind of unheard of for an artist to put out that much music in 1 year. So my question to you is, I'm wondering how long it took you to make each album and the EP.
Well, the reason why it happened all in 1 year was because basically what I was doing for the past 10 years or so was writing random music like in Logic and production and like Ableton and doing all kinds of like crazy EDM stuff and I've been wanting to put out that music for a long time, but my job was teaching piano lessons. And so every day, like 6 days a week, I was just teaching the same little 5-year-old kids every day. And I would just go home and play piano and then go back to teach, then play piano. And in my spare time, I would like produce EDM beats or whatever. But what happened was over the course of that like 2 years where I was teaching piano, I had just a bunch of these voice memos, which were like these little 30-second piano ideas. And that's kind of what happened is then I had another job, which I was playing piano for seniors at a church. And so I was basically playing jazz piano for like a senior citizen sing-along group. And what happened was they had this lady come in and be like, we want to make a documentary about these senior citizens because they all have Alzheimer's and they're singing all these songs together. So they asked me to write a bunch of music for the documentary. This is kind of a long story, but So that's what happened. I was like, I'm going to record all these piano ideas that I had from my voice memos. And so there was like 100 of them or something, or 500 or 5 million of them. And I just picked kind of like the best 30. And I was just like, record them. I mean, I sort of had to finish them first. Like they were like 30 seconds. And I was like, I just kind of sat down for like, you know, one night on each one and sort of like extended it to 2-3 minutes. And then I just recorded them all. And so that's why, and then so I had that album. And so then when the documentary lady came back to me, she's like, how about you write all this new stuff? And I was like, how about you just check out this music I have? And then I own all the rights to it. And they ended up just using all those as like background, peaceful background music in the documentary. So that's kind of what it was. And then the second album was like, they needed more. So I was just like, all right, I have like 20 more. And then like, that's what it was. And that's why you get that one track, which I think you might talk about today, is like there's one track at the end of the album that has like, you know, pop, singing, EDM, whatever. That was like me of saying like, I have to do something besides just piano music. And I really wanted to put something out that was like not just solo piano, super chill. So I think that's basically the whole story. So it really wasn't like in 1 year. It was like a combination of like maybe 2 years or so worth of like random voice memos. 1 or 2 of them was from like 5 years ago or something, you know. I just thought, oh, this is a cool little piano idea. So they just turned out to be like they were already all written. So I just recorded them. So
Did you record them in a studio?
bedroom studios. It's actually another funny story too, is that the day I decided to do the documentary and record all the piano pieces, I also did one commercial and got paid. It was like a Sprint commercial in Mexico or something. It was like a Mexican Sprint commercial, and I got paid $4,000. So I decided to quit on my piano lessons. I was like, dude, I'll be good for like 2 months. So I quit all my piano lessons and moved back home to my parents' house, which is where I'm at now in Oxnard. So with that $4,000, I bought a brand new upright piano, and then I recorded all those piano songs on this brand new piano. So, and then I was broke ever since. Until
Welcome.
yesterday when Trump gave me a lot of money from my stimulus check. So I'm ready to go.
Yeah, we're all ready to go with that, you know. Really gonna help us. Yeah, but that's an amazing story, because you don't, I mean, every artist has a different way of doing things, but to me it's incredible when people can like just kind of still do their art, still do their work at the same time.
Yeah. Well, but
And
see,
the
I think
fact,
I almost couldn't, you know, like I think that's why I had to quit teaching, because I almost felt like I couldn't do my art at the same time. And then I was like just super thankful that like my parents live an hour away from LA. And I was just like, you know what? I can just move home and just drive to LA. It's only 1 hour, you know?
yeah.
So since then I've been just writing way more and just kind of like writing tons of stuff and releasing nothing.
Why haven't you been releasing?
Well, because I think the stuff that I'm doing is like, I'm really, like, I feel really good about it. But I just feel that it's not quite ready. And like, I like, there's a part of it that's like this 30 seconds of this track is like amazing or something. And then like the rest of the 2.5 minutes like sucks. And so I'm just like, I'm trying to just like get it to where I could feel like it's just all there, you know? And maybe it's just like a matter of like opinion, and I'm just totally, you know, should just go for it and just release it because I'm never going to be satisfied. But I think that, and especially lately, I've been more and more and more satisfied with like the whole track. And actually, I've finished a few tracks recently, but haven't released them and finished them to where I feel confident about releasing them, but I just don't want to do one track yet, you know? Or
Yeah,
just put out one track, you know?
it's hard to know when something is finished. Like you can mull over something for like a year, 2 years, 3 years.
For
It's
your
like
entire
so easy
lifetime.
to do.
Just...
But
Well,
yeah.
I heard, isn't it the famous thing, like the Beatles said, a song is never finished, it's just left where it is. I think that's a quote.
I
So
think
maybe I should just leave it all where it is and just, go for it.
sometimes you have to, you know. But I get what you're saying.
But sometimes you just like, when it's just like, that's it, like, it's like, that's sick.
Yeah, but that moment doesn't happen very often, for me at least.
Yeah, but what if it could? What if
What if it could? The world would
that's
be
kind of,
different.
no, I think it's good to have high expectations, but I think, yeah, at some point, like, you can't have too high expectations, or else you'll just like never do anything.
I don't know about that. I feel like high expectations is like how I thrive, you know?
Well, I guess I'm just saying, if sometimes people think like that the bar is so high, like in my case, and like I haven't put anything out, you know what I mean? I really am like 100% on putting stuff out, but like, as far as saying like this month, 6 months, next year, like it's not really for sure.
Yeah. No, I get
But
that.
definitely like not 10 years from now, you know what I mean? Hopefully I'll definitely be like,
Hopefully not.
yeah.
That.
I just need more unemployment money, and then I could start releasing music.
That's right. You can really just go for it.
Well, but that's actually a good thing too. Well, because recently, since I've been home all the time and basically, lost all my jobs, I've been having a ton of time to write. So it's been like really productive in that way. So, like,
That's
extremely
good.
productive.
I'm
Almost too
really
productive that I don't sleep, and then I get,
sleep. Listen, you have to sleep because if you're up all day and all night, like that just never ends well.
No, it's true, but I think it's very, very important, and I definitely am sleeping a lot. But I think what happened is, like, when I get on like a day when I'm just writing for a really, really long time, and I might go through the night or whatever, and then happen to like get to where it's like 10 a.m. and I'm just like, should I go to sleep or just like stay up till 5 p.m. so that I could like wake up in the morning the next day? Or then I go to sleep at 10 and then I wake up at 9 p.m. And then it's like you wake up at 9 p.m. and you're just like, I don't know if it's still Friday or Saturday. And then you just start getting confused. Like I did that for like a week or so. And I was just like literally waking up at 9 p.m. and like then the next day waking up at like 6 p.m. and then the next day like getting up at 2 a.m. and it was pretty crazy.
That's wild. That
I
would
know.
be like
No,
so far off my life.
it felt really good at first, but I'll tell you, if you want to try it out, like after a week or so, it kind of gets confusing of like I literally was like, no, I got to get back to like, I'm going to force myself to stay up one day so that I could just like wake up in the morning again and like, get up at 9 a.m. or whatever. Because I was getting like kind of disoriented, and it was fun, but like kind of trippy in a way.
Yeah. Crazy.
But super fun. And I would recommend it. If I had to recommend it.
So.
Well, actually, in that
agree to disagree.
Wait, what?
Agree to disagree.
Well, no, actually, I actually learned that if I had in doing that, I realized that like my ideal time to wake up would be like 3 a.m. If I could do it every day and like maybe at some point get back onto that and do it every day, it was like the chillest time ever, because some people get up at 5 a.m. and it's like kind of normal, but like to get up at 3, it's like everyone's still asleep. Like literally everyone's asleep. It's so quiet. Like you can hear like about the time that like the first birds start chirping, you know what I mean? And you could like, and you get to see the light get lighter outside. And it's just like, you take that first hour or two to really like just do nothing and like slowly just be super peaceful. And then by the time it gets light outside, then go do your like whatever, start working, like go exercise or whatever. But like in that first 2 hours was just like the most peaceful time ever. And I would recommend like getting up at 3 a.m.
Listen, I don't think that's such a bad idea. I used to stay up super, super late because at night everything was quiet and I could write and no one would really hear me or care. And also there's like a different vibe about the night. Like I can't write a song if it's not nighttime. I have a very hard time doing that, especially like for myself. There's
Well,
just
there's no
different
distractions and stuff, you know.
energies. Right, right. But
All
something about
those
knowing that the world is just asleep is like
super
oddly
chill.
comforting. Yeah,
Uh-huh. Yeah, all
yeah.
those piano album, the piano album and all that stuff, I recorded in my own bedroom and in the middle of the night because it's actually pretty quiet. My parents are actually sleeping upstairs, and but I have like one soundproof wall, and it's sort of on the other side of the house, and they have the felt pedal on, so it's like not too loud. Like I would ask them every morning, like, "Hey, did you guys hear anything?" They're like, "Nope, we just slept through the whole thing." So it was cool because I was literally playing the same thing like a zillion times over, like just, you know, starting it over and starting over, and no one heard anything. So Oxnard Studios
I'm gonna
coming
play a
through.
clip of your song called "Evolve." This
Ooh.
is one of Jeff's piano compositions, and it is from. It's on Opus.
It's on Joy.
Ooh. Oh, it's on Joy. Okay,
Yeah.
so Joy is a 31 song album, right?
Yes. Well,
Okay.
actually, it's only 30 because I didn't count the last one. In my mind, there's only 30. Like one of them is not a track.
Which one?
Well, the last one. I didn't count
Why?
it in my mind. I don't know. It's just like it's not a thing. I know that probably doesn't make sense.
It counts. It counts. Okay.
Yeah. Oh,
I'm gonna
actually,
play.
technically, one of them on Spotify doesn't count as a track because it's less than 30 seconds, and you get 0 plays for that. So,
Oh, yeah, I did hear about that. That's so stupid.
yeah, so you'll never get counted for a play unless it goes over 30 seconds. Um, so yeah,
Bullshit.
that one is technically not a track according to Spotify. So.
Well, fuck that. That's what I say. Here's Evolve. Who was
Spunky's
that?
favorite song
Spunky.
is Spunky. Oh, I think there's actually one
Hi.
track on there called Spunky's Waltz, which was basically, you know, sorry Spunky, but it was just a generic 3/4 time, and I just like literally every track after they were already recorded, mixed, and mastered were called like Oxnard #1, Oxnard #2, and like right before I upload, I was just like, yeah, this one's called Spunky's Waltz, so that one's
Aww.
Spunky's Waltz. But he did inspire it in a
Okay.
way, you know. Look at him,
So cute.
so
Oh.
chill, peaceful.
Aw.
He actually couldn't stay in the room when I was recording those because he would like scratch himself. He'd be like, you know, his collar. Even if I took off his collar, like he'd scratch, and they would get picked up by the mic, you know. So I had to like
Yeah.
get him out.
Um, when you are recording, how are you setting yourself up for the piano stuff?
Do you mean like the technical stuff or just like mentally?
Yeah, like, are you doing MIDI or live piano? Like, what? How do you record?
Oh, for the piano album,
Yeah.
those are all just live piano. I literally like the only thing I could really afford at that time was these $60. I got this stereo pair, 2 stereo mics. You could actually see them in the cover of Joy. They're these 2 little condenser stereo pair for $60. That's for the pair, so $30 each. And I literally just put one on the left, one on the right, and I put them pretty close so you can hear that like kind of like that tickly soft sound of the felt, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then that was it, just those 2 mics, and make sure to put way down the mic stand because they fall over, you know. So I got these like sandbag things on them, which you could also see in that picture. Those little round circle, like they're like little donuts. They're called like lifesaver things or something. But yeah, it's just those 2 like cheap stereo pair mics, and then I basically did everything with the 2 channels, and then it was cool because since one was on the right and one was on the left, you could kind of hear if you listen carefully, like the stuff on the right of the piano is in your right ear and the stuff on the left is in your left ear. So I kind of like panned them out so you can hear the piano in this ear, the high and the low like that. And then sort of mix the EQ so like where they're overlapping, you know, kind of just made it try to sound like the actual piano and not just get like in the middle.
Did you teach yourself production?
Uh, yeah, I mean, I guess so, but a lot of YouTube and stuff, you know. And I think more recently, mixing videos was, I think, like super crucial because I think everyone has like, if you have like musical creativity and you want to like make music, you could just do whatever you want, and like it's cool if you like you have your own musical style or whatever. But I think a lot of times people get held back because they don't understand mixing, and it's super important if you want your stuff to sound good, you know. Like you could listen to like a hip hop track where the beat is so simple, you know, you can literally hear it's like, oh, it's like a kick drum and a snare and a hi-hat. But since they mix it so good, when you put it in your car, like the sub is just like, and it fits perfectly with like the snare, and like it's all about the mix. It just pops, you know. And if you get like anyone on GarageBand to just like do that same beat with like a kick and a snare and a hi-hat, it's gonna sound not good, you know. It's like so much of the mixing if you want it to sound professional. And that's what I've been getting into more lately, is like learning about mixing. And I'll give like my random new tip of the day, which I barely got into, like literally within the past few months, is using dynamic EQ on everything. It's just like a game changer 100 for all your mixes, like because you use an EQ to, like, you know, cut out the frequencies you don't like or boost the things you want to hear more. But the dynamic EQ, it's like a compressor, but it's basically a de-esser, but only on that frequency for the de-essers. But basically, it only pushes down the EQ when that frequency gets too high. So it's like it doesn't mess with your mix throughout the whole track until that moment that you want it, you know, which is so amazing. It's like, it's basically just an EQ, but it doesn't touch your mix until it gets too loud to that one point where you're like, oh, what was that? But it only turns it down at that moment. And so like that's been super crucial for me, for making the tracks just sound like mixed good all the way through. There's always like that one moment like, I can't fix that one thing. If you bring it down on the regular EQ, then you ruin the rest of the song. I mean, unless you automate it. But do you want to automate like the whole track like a zillion times, or just put on one dynamic EQ and it just does it all for you, you know?
Yeah. Interesting.
But anyways,
okay, so you're doing it all yourself. You're mixing,
yes.
you're producing, you're writing, you're recording. Yeah.
Yes, but I think
Pretty
like at the
incredible.
point when but I think mixing I feel pretty good about, but I still feel like producer style mixing, like I would still have like someone else check it over or send it to someone to like give it a little extra boost at the end, or a little approval of like someone who's better than me at mixing or like mastering or whatever, to just give it that little extra oomph at the end, you know?
Yeah.
But I will say, like, I've learned a ton of stuff with mixing that it actually makes producing more fun, because you hear it and you're like, if the mix sounds good, you get more excited and you're like, whoa, this sounds like a real track, you know? You can, if you don't know how to mix, like you can imagine that like, damn, this musical idea is good, but it sounds like shit, you know, like it sounds bad. And then you put it in your car or something, you're like, and then you play it against something that you like and you're like, why does mine sound so different? I don't even know why it sounds different. And it's just all mixing. It's just like mostly EQ and volume, which is just, you know, a lot of people put compression, but just gain and just making it at the right moments.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I don't mix my stuff because I get like way too into the track, and I can't take a step back and actually listen with like fresh ears, if that makes any sense. But yeah, I find it always helpful to just like work with a mixer and get it to where you want it to be, because they're gonna hear things that you're not hearing. And you know, I feel like it's just the best way to make.
Well, yeah, and I think everyone has their specialty. You know what I mean? Like everybody has a person, but at like mentally, but like as a musical artist, like some people like love mixing stuff, and like some people love just like doing all this like nerdy techie stuff, and some people like hate it, you know. And for me, like, to be honest, like I feel like one of like the not that techie compared to like a lot of my friends and stuff who just are just like, yo, I got the latest, like, you know, super expensive interface, and like I'm using like the $100, you know, interface still, and or you know, the outboard gear. I got like some of my friends just got these like giant racks, like check out my whatever C8 compressor, and I'm just like, dude, I have like the Ableton stock compressor and like my cracked plugins, you know. I
Yeah.
actually have a lot of like purchased
Nothing wrong
plugins,
with that.
but yeah.
Yeah, they're expensive. It's hard
Yeah,
to
I
keep
mean,
up.
yeah, I would definitely, you know, I do buy like most of them, but there's definitely a few that I'm still using like a lot that are cracked, which I won't name any names
Okay.
for legal purposes.
Yeah. I do want to play a clip from your track called You with an artist that's featured on it called Nefers.
Yeah, he's a good friend of mine.
Let's just take a little listen.
Swim out and take the river's gold and bring it back to you.
So that's You. And if anyone is just tuning in, I just want to say this is Jeff Herrera, producer, composer, pianist. We're talking about his songs on my anti-anxiety playlist. Follow the playlist. It's on Spotify. It's my artist playlist. But yeah, I mean, this song is one of my favorite songs in the world. There's just something about it that makes you feel like comfortable, at ease, relaxed. Yeah, I don't know. For me, it's like just the right combination of sounds. And that's why it's on my playlist. So
thanks.
Yeah. So how did you transition into adding vocals to the song? Because the whole album is straight piano music.
Mm-hmm.
And then here we have a track with vocals on it. I'm just wondering what that process was like.
Well, I think it was kind of like what I was saying before about how like I was literally spending 90% of my creative writing production time on like pop, EDM, that kind of music, that what you hear in that track. That's where I was spending all my time, and I was like really just like, that's what I really wanted to do, or what I still am doing, and I'm gonna put out music in that sort of that genre, you know. But
when you say that though, who are these songs for?
Well, which songs?
The more pop leaning stuff that you're working on.
Oh, I mean, for anyone, I guess. It's just like I just am writing in this for myself, I guess. I don't know. That's just what I like, what makes me happy or whatever, you know, to do that kind of music. Don't get me wrong, like I love playing piano, and I spend so much time every day just sitting in front of the piano, just relaxing or whatever. But when it comes to writing and making music, I spend mostly all my time doing this kind of, that other pop style of music. So what happened was, after I got through with all those piano tracks, I was just like, I just got to put something on there that's like different, and I got to like, it's like a hint at what's to come, is basically, it's a hint at what I'm gonna be putting out later, is music more like that, if that makes sense.
Okay. For yourself, but also you are working towards pitching other artists your music, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm open to anything, but I'm really focused on mostly just making the music really good. And that's like, if I start thinking about like, well, who am I going to pitch it to? Or like, what artist would like this or whatever, like, it just kind of makes my mind just like, I don't want to think about it. You know what I mean? Like, that's just, I just don't
It's a
like want to.
different game for sure.
It's like a backwards way to look at it, you know. And I think sometimes people look
Yeah.
at like, where do I want to go as an artist, instead of just like, you know, I kind of joke about this with all my friends, but it's like, instead of looking out there for what, you know, what you want to become or whatever, you got to look in here. You know what I mean? So that's what I do, is I
That's
just
right.
kind of try and look inside and say, well, how does this music make me feel, make me happy? And then how can I make it good, or at least like as great as possible? And if I could make something that's great, then the opportunities out of that, of like who artists would want to work with me, or also like who or writing for other people, or producing for other artists that are songwriters or whatever, I feel like that stuff will just work out naturally if I just kind of focus on me and being like, can I make my music really, really good? And yeah, and so that's how I was thinking about it. But, you know, to go back to the question about that song, is like, I just really wanted to put out something in that genre that I've been really writing in like for way longer. I mean, I've been doing piano just as long, but like, it's just really what I want to do. And so I had to put out like one song. So then I asked my mysterious vocalist friend named Neffers to sing on it. And he was like, of course, I would love to sing on your track. And that was history. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, the vocal sounds great. You
Yeah,
found like
like,
a very versatile vocalist for that one.
I think he did a good job. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
Yeah.
Um, I'm gonna now ask you 3 questions. Before we start taking questions, I see that the question box there are questions in there. But before I do, I just wanted to I ask every guest 3 questions at the end. And the first question is, what song is your anti-anxiety anthem?
Like, it's got to be specifically like a chill out song.
Yeah, whatever that means to you. Yeah.
I mean, just like right off the top of my head, I've been listening to like a bunch of classical stuff, like random, like some violin, you know, like the Carnival, what is it, the Swan, stuff like that. There's one called
Carnival of the
Salud
F.
d'Amour, like these solo violin pieces and solo cello stuff, you know, like
Okay.
Bach cello suites, Bach air in D major, which some people call air on the G string.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
that kind of like soft classical, and some piano stuff. Mainly I'm playing piano is kind of like my main anti-anxiety remedy, is sort of just sitting in front of the piano and just chilling out to, you know, playing piano. So I guess like classical chill stuff
Okay.
would be my answer. But it could be something totally different tomorrow. I don't even know. Let's definitely listen to like a lot of random stuff.
Well, you answered 2 questions in one, because
Oh,
the next question was, name your favorite thing to do to manage anxiety or relax, and I guess that would be playing
well,
piano.
I don't know. To be honest, yeah, I guess. But I would say it's not just that. I would have to throw in like the combination of like also doing nothing, and like, you know, some people call it like meditation or whatever, but taking a lot of time to actually say like, today is my hard work day. I'm gonna work my like crazy on this music, but like the next day being like, I'm not gonna do anything. I'm not even gonna work on music, because taking that space to do nothing, and that's super important for me too. And a lot of my friends who I like, you know, especially in LA, I won't name any names. I didn't name anyone's name, but like a lot of people that I know, they're just like, yo, you gotta grind, grind. If you're not working, then you're losing, you know. But I really think it's like work, do nothing, work, do nothing. And if you just work, it's like the opposite of what you should do. And you're gonna feel like really bad, and you're gonna get burnt out, and it's like not gonna be cool. And another thing recently that I'm just gonna throw in there, because I got a lot of remedies is exercise. I've been doing that like consistently, and that's for sure like get you way chilled out. Doing that on a regular basis, even just 15 minutes of just like my go-to is 15 minutes of jump rope, and you're just super relaxed afterwards. And I would say everybody, doesn't matter, you know, every single person can benefit from exercise. Like mentally, not just like physically. You're gonna lose weight and like get all, you know, shredded or whatever, but you're gonna definitely feel better mentally. One of my a random little funny story is that one of my good friends, we kind of started work like exercising like together, like at the same time. We like got motivated together, and I was like, yeah, you know. So we were talking about it, and like in a few months I was like, dude, like I'm starting to like look better or whatever. Like I got like slightly like more definition, like whatever, you know what I mean? And then I had this like realization. I was like, dude, you know what's crazy? Like if you get a six-pack, then you get a six-pack mind, because like it affects your mind. Like you're stronger in the mind when you exercise.
Oh my god.
But you don't see it, you know what I mean? But like it does make you stronger in the mind, and it's helped me a lot. And that's why I wanted to just say it, because mentally and physically it's all connected. And like a lot of people have just been ignoring the physical. Like it's like, well, my job is like this and it doesn't involve physical, so I don't need to exercise ever. But it's like, why is everybody super overweight and have all these health problems and stuff, you know? So exercise, playing piano.
Exercise is important. Even just
like,
going for a walk every day.
Yeah.
It's enough to just like change your whole mindset, or at least some of it. But yeah, I feel you. I exercise every morning. I'm working on those abs. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you got to get them.
Hard work.
But you don't do sit-ups to get abs. You do sit-ups.
We're not going there. We're not going there.
Not a fitness podcast.
Oh my god. Last of my questions for you is, what are you most grateful for today?
Oh wow. Number one, for little Spunkers. And well, also number one, for you invited me on this show. This has been I'm very, very grateful for you having me. And
I'm grateful for you being here, honestly.
Thank you. For the sun, feels really good right now, like, on my face. Also for, I think, you know, it's kind of sad because everyone's been talking about, I mean, it's just a really sad time because of, like, you know, coronavirus and all that stuff. But for me, it's been giving me super amount of free time to relax, to like reflect, reevaluate, like what am I doing, and to have time to work on music. Like it's been giving me so much free time that I'm like really grateful for. Not to mention the government giving me tons of money for, you know, I mean, no joke. Like if you guys,
it's not tons. Let's get that straight.
I mean, it's enough to like not have to. It's enough for me to like stay at home all day and write for the next like 6 months. So that's super amazing. And I know it's like kind of whack because of the circumstances, but it's been very chill. And Oxnard, like you can't beat it, the weather. And I've been like working out outside and just like laying out on the backyard, like on the ground, like every morning, you know?
Yeah.
So it's been very chill.
I am going to move to the questions because we do have some questions here. Someone says, Jurini says, I know this is not related to music, but what is your favorite TV show?
For me?
Yeah, for you.
Whoa. I'm trying to think because to be honest, I don't really watch a lot of TV shows, but there have been a couple very recently that I did watch. This is maybe like a lame music answer, but the last thing I watched was Mozart in the Jungle, the Amazon series.
It's a good one.
It's about, yeah, it's about New York City and the orchestras and stuff. And I was so pissed though, because I was like, dude, I'm on season 4. And then like I got to the end and I was like, I'm gonna see what happens. And then like I was like, what the heck? And I had to Google it, and I guess the show got canceled, so there was like no conclusion ever. So if you're gonna watch it, just know you're gonna be just left hanging after 4 seasons. They just pulled the plug, didn't finish the show. So
Yeah, it was heartbreaking, honestly.
yeah,
That it was so good, such a good show.
see,
Someone, who is this? Taylor Jiba. Is your next album piano or EDM?
oh, that's a good question. Um, I don't really even know. It's probably 90% gonna be EDM, pop. But I don't want to say like super EDM. It's not gonna be like just pure EDM, but it's gonna be more like a pop-ish EDM, but not just like a straight like house, just nonstop. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I guess the simple answer is it's 90% gonna be EDM, like super fun music, and not like I hate to say it, but like it's not gonna be on the anti-anxiety playlist. It's gonna be like
It might be.
It's gonna be on like the turn up playlist, like go crazy, you know?
Oh, I can put the questions here.
Ooh.
Okay. Can you see this?
Yeah, what's your take on the John Mayer quote? It's my failure to sound like my heroes.
It's my failure to sound like my heroes that's allowed me to sound like myself is the end of the quote.
Oh. I mean, I don't know. I think that's a cool quote, because everybody has their heroes, you know, and like they want to sound like they have to be motivated by something, like musically, you know, or they have to be inspired by something musically, not just by like, you know, people say you're inspired by your life, but you have to be inspired musically to want to create music too. So you're always going to like try and sound like your heroes, you know. But I think it's really important, yeah, that if you try and sound like your heroes, you do end up sounding like yourself. I guess if you fail, I don't know, it's kind of confusing, because I think some people say like, no, you shouldn't copy anybody and you should just be yourself, you know. But I think it's impossible to not copy anybody, because you're always going to be inspired by music and your hero. So I'd say it's pretty true of a quote. I don't know if I like sort of kind of answered, but kind of didn't.
Yeah. Someone else is asking, will you ever collaborate with Illicit Ghost?
Oh, you know, that's a good question. There may have already been a track that we started years ago, way back in the day. So yes, I think it's very possible. And to be honest, I think that track you'll hear someday, soon.
Yeah, I hope so.
And it's very dark, just like the artist on it.
I take that as a compliment. So
no, I'm not even lying. Like I'll tell you the little, maybe like a 2-second story of it. I sent like the beat, which was like super simple. It was like literally like a kick at a snare and a kick at a snare. That was like the whole track. And then she actually
don't forget there is a chain in there.
Well, yeah, but I didn't want to spoil too much. But yeah, the snare was the chain. So it was like 808 and then a chain, and then 808 and a chain. And then I sent it to her and I was like, I think you're going to love this. Here it is. And it was like literally like 2 bars of like snare, chain. I mean, kick, chain, kick, chain. And then she sent me back like literally an hour later, like the full verse and chorus and everything. And like, it was so dark that it just like made me cringe. And I got like creepy feelings, you know what I mean? Like those like the shivers, like, cause you know, she does like the violin all screechy. And I was just like, ugh. Like it kind of freaked me out. I was literally in the Apple store in New York City, the 5th Avenue one, waiting for my stupid phone to like be fixed. And I was just in there. And then they didn't even fix it. It was losers. But anyway, they just told me I had to buy a new one. But anyways, she sent it to me when I was waiting. in the Apple store, and I was just like in my own world, just like it was so light in there, but then it was like the whole room, like the lights just got dark, and like there was like clouds over, like a giant like cloud just went over my whole face, and like it just
To be
everything
the
went
music
black.
video.
Yeah, and that's how I felt on the inside. I was just like, whoa, where am I? So that's that track. So maybe yes, to answer the question.
The answer is yes. Yeah.
And it's gonna be
And
dark.
of course, I mean, what else do you expect? You know, you know who you're dealing with. The next question I have is the last question. Best way to get your music heard after releasing a track?
What do I think is the best way to get your music heard?
Yeah.
I didn't really hear. I think it was like windy. Wait, did I say it?
It says, yeah, it's what's the best way to get your music heard after releasing a track?
Oh, well, I would say maybe I'm not the most qualified person because like no one's heard my music. But no, there's quite the success that I did have was like when I put out the album Joy. A lot of my friends are very into like, you know, Spotify playlists and like doing all that stuff to like, you know, email people, and I would say that's probably, from what I've seen, the best thing to do. And from my own personal success, when I released Joy, I took like one day or like maybe like 2 days of like finding random people online and be like, hey, check out my piano music. And I'd find like people that have playlists that are like chill piano playlist, you know, chill piano, whatever, or like other piano artists like me who like have somewhat of a following, and I would like find their email, be like, hey, check out my stuff. And like out of doing that for like 2 days, I got like 2 people to say like, hey, I'll put your track on my playlist. You know, it's called like Relaxation Piano. And so like literally every play I've ever got on Spotify, besides like my friends, which, you know, there's not really that many plays, but all the plays are coming from like 2 playlists from that like one day of like emailing, which I hated. I felt like so bad. Like every time I ask someone to like check my music out, I feel like an idiot, and like I just like it makes me like it hurts my soul. You know what I mean? So after 2 days, I was like, I'm out. I'm over this. Like I don't even care if no one listens anymore. Like I don't want to do this. You know? And so, but anyways, I think there was some good success in doing that. So I would say, if you can do that or have someone do that for you, and like really just find people online that are somewhat targeted to your genre or whatever, and try and contact them either on Spotify, like find their playlist, find their Facebook, find their emails. Like some people get into like shady apps that can like find people's email addresses, like they can like search like companies' emails, and like any way that you can to just like email your music to people, and eventually someone will listen. I think that's my
I think
best
that's a great
answer.
answer. Yeah, just going for it, not being shy, just emailing it, sending it out. Believe it. You have to believe in it, you know. You have to
If
be
you believe in
confident.
it, then for sure, like
Yeah.
other people probably will too, you know. I mean, unless it's
And
really bad, you know, like sometimes like you gotta like kind of be realistic too. I think it's super important to like be realistic with like, you know, people say you should never compare your music to others, but it's like I really think you should in some ways, but like not to the point where it's like too much. But like I don't know, I think you really just should be realistic. Like, does it sound like is it professional? You know what I mean? Like there's some things that you really do have to look at, but for the most part you shouldn't compare, like especially while you're creating. I think when you're in the zone, don't compare anyone, just go for it, and like don't compare to anyone and just do it. But like when you're done with the track, like get really critical and be like, is it good? Is it done? Does it sound like at the level of these artists that I want to be in the same category of, you know? So anyways, that was like a totally random thing, but
no, it's good. People need to hear it. You know, we have musicians listening that are just getting started and need advice.
Well, I know a lot of people too that like have had that sort of thing where they sent out music to people and then like they get something back where it's just like, this is just not up to the quality of our standards or something. And I've like read certain articles about like A&R rep guy, you know, and it's just like, what's the number one thing that you get when you get tracks? And he's like, people don't understand that like we get like 1 billion tracks a day, and anyone who we accept has like been doing it for like 15 years or more, and like your stuff actually has to be good, because they get so many submissions, you know. So like the guy was like, the number one thing for people should think about before they send it is like, is this what they want to send? Like, is this your best work? Because they're not going to listen like when you try and send them again. I mean, unless you like change your email or change your artist name or something, but
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
like kind of your one chance. And if you blow it, like, you really got to be honest. Like, is it like something that you would listen to, or that something that an artist that you love to listen to and just like makes you feel pumped, or there's something you really love? Is it really like feel like it's at that level? Like, it's never going to be, no one's going to be the same. Like when you get to that point, like no one's going to be, you really can't compare when you get to a certain point. But like, then it's just a matter of taste, you know. But you do have to be honest and be like, is this professional quality stuff before I like go send it to people, you know?
And
Like, don't
last
half-ass
question we
it,
have.
you know. Sorry.
Last question we have is from Luke Sanchez, saying,
Ooh, what up?
is Jeff down to collab with anyone?
Oh, I'm gonna say currently right now, I'm a recluse. Currently right now, I mean, I'm definitely very down to collaborate in the future, but in this moment right now, I'm finishing up these songs with one collaborator, a mysterious person, and we're actually almost done with those. So after that phase of like finishing those tracks, I'm gonna be doing my solo tracks, and those could have some collaborations on them. But so like kind of at this moment, no, but like maybe within the next 6 months or so, I'm gonna be kind of like getting back into the world a little bit. So
Thank you for coming on.
yeah, thank you.
And
Thanks for.
thank you for sharing all of this. Like, it's amazing to hear everything, and people are very appreciative in the comments. Yeah, so if you want to listen to Jeff, you can listen on my anti-anxiety playlist, or you can search on Spotify Jeff Herrera. You'll see his 2 albums, his 1 EP, and stay tuned for more coming from him in the future. And yeah, anything else you want to add?
No, I just want to say thank you for having me, and thank everybody here for listening. And I hope that I shared some information that could be helpful to somebody. So
I think you did. So, all right, gonna leave you with this.
Oh.